Hi everybody, this is Shae from Sweet Beads in Las Vegas, Nevada. And today I'm going to show you how to start the Lavender Weave bracelet that was featured in Beadwork's Quick and Easy Winter 2015 and is in the current special collector's edition of Beadwork Presents Favorite Bead Stitches. A few people had problems getting started, so I want to show you how this works. Now, in the magazine, they call these A and B beads for the purposes of making this faster for us. I'm going to call the Super Duos big and the seed beads little. So you want to have a big, a little, a big, a little, a big, a little, a big, a little. Okay, 4 beads, one of each kind. And in the magazine, they call this a herringbone stitch. I'm going to argue that, to me, it's a little bit more like a 2-drop peyote because we're going to pick up 2 beads and pass through 2 beads. So if you kind of think of it that way, this might make a little bit more sense. And we want to keep our beads nice and tight. And we are always going to pick up a big bead and a little bead. And we are always going to pass through a big bead and a little bead. So I've picked up my big and my little. I've brought my first 4 sets down to the end of my thread, and I'm going to pass through the top hole of my big bead and through my little bead, okay? Always picking up a big and a little, always passing through a big and a little. And like with most peyote, you want to keep everybody fairly tight. I'm going to tighten up from both ends. And that'll keep your beads from flipping because that's about the toughest part of this first row. So I'm going to now pick up a big and a little, and I'm going to pass through top hole of my next big bead and down through that little bead. And this is the most awkward row, so sometimes it's hard to get through that little bead. There it is. Down through my big and my little, okay, and then pull tight. Pick up a big and a little, pass through a big and a little. Make sure everybody stays where they're supposed to. Pull tight. Okay, so we're going to do that again. Pick up a big and a little. Remember to check your holes on 2 whole beads, otherwise you could be crying in a little while. So pass through the top hole of that big bead and down through the little bead. So we picked up a big and a little, passed through a big and a little. And again, that's every single time. We're going to pick up a big and a little and pass through a big and a little. Now we're getting to the end of our row, and even though this looks kind of wicked and cockeyed, it's supposed to sort of look that way. So you can see that on this row, the one below is facing one direction and the row above is facing the other direction. Now, I told you we always pick up a big bead and a little bead and pass through a big bead and a little bead. And I can hear you saying, Shae, there's no little bead. I have a big bead, but there's no little bead. I'm going to show you what to do. We pick up a big and a little. We pass through the big bead, and you're right, there's no little bead on the end. What will we do? Well, guess what? We just added a little bead. So we picked up our big and a little, passed through a big, and now I'm going to pass up through the little bead that I just added. Okay, so that's the end of that row. Now again, we made sure that nobody got twisted or turned around. It looks really awkward at this point, but you can see, hopefully, how all of these beads on the base row are sort of pointing to the left, and all of these are sort of pointing to the right. Now I flip my work, so that's suddenly going to be reversed. And we want to pick up a big and a little. And from this bead forward, it should get a little easier because you can see I'm passing through the top hole of that big bead, and then my needle just naturally wants to hit right there, okay? Can you see that? It just naturally wants to go through the little bead. So we picked up a big and a little, we passed through a big and a little. And we're going to repeat that all the way down. Pick up a big and a little, pass through the big and the little, and you can see, don't try to dip down anymore because then you'll be going through the wrong bead. It just naturally, your needle wants to go there. Go ahead and let it do that. Okay. Pick up a big and a little, because we never change. We're always picking up a big and a little, always passing through a big and a little. Okay. And we're on the last bead. Remember, we have a big and a little, and we pass through a big and a little. But don't come down to this guy. We're going to pass through the big bead. He's already been used. So we pass through the big and step up through the little. Okay, so I hope that helped you get started. And you can see once again that second row, all of them are facing to the left, and all of my new row are facing to the right. And that's how we know they're looking good. Okay, I'm going to turn my work and keep going. So I would pick up a big and a little, and again pass through the big and the little. And you're going to do that just like the instructions say in the magazine. So I hope that helped a little bit for you to understand how the pattern goes for the lavender weave bracelet. If you have any other questions, please feel free to give us a call here at Sweet Beads. You can find us online at sweetbeadslv.com, or you can send us an email at sweetbeadslv@gmail.com. Okay, have a great day and happy beading.